There is so many people that don't like to come and listen to Muhammad because he said there is no heaven or hell for us after we die. That when we die, that's the end of us. I said, brother, if there was an end coming back to us, there was another chance, I would be a greater believer in that than you. Because that would convince me that I'm preaching wrong. I will come back. And I would like to have a chance, if there is anything like coming back, to come back. But if you put the cold, chilly hands of death on me now, and then wake me up and warm them up again, I would say that I wouldn't not feel like getting up. I would be afraid something else is going to happen. So I said, once death put me to sleep, let me remain asleep. That I'm not conscious that I'm asleep. And I don't want to get conscious that I'm asleep if I got to come back again to that same grave. Like the Bible teaches you. And there's a lot of Christian ministers take it just further. That God raised Lazarus up out of the grave. Give him life again. Well, then why did Lazarus have to die again? But God is more intelligent than that. He would not have raised Lazarus up and then let him die again, the physical death. He would have been mistreating Lazarus. But that's the misunderstanding of the preacher. The death there don't mean a physical death. He declared that himself when he told to come to the grave. And that Lazarus was dead. He said, he's not dead. He's just asleep. Meaning that he's not physically dead. Show me where you have lain. And he went and looked at Lazarus, still declaring he's not dead. And then he called on his Lord. Not to try to God. He was well aware that God knew what he was wanting. He says, in words, I'm not trying to tempt you, but for the sake of these that stand by, the disbelievers, that you answer my prayer for what I'm asking for, because I'm not trying. I know you can raise it. But for the sake of these disbelievers, Jews, I said, I could change that today. For the sake of disbelieving black people. Let him rise. I want to thank you for your honor and respect to my wife's dead body. I never seen no person, body, honored as you did my wife. You're greatly honored. I was told that there was somewhat around 500 cars out in that parade. I do think that I couldn't ask you for more respect and honor that you give to my wife's body. I hope and pray to God that the honor will always be remembered that you give her. This is all we can do for a dead body. It is to respect it for what it did for us when it was alive. So, these things come by the will of Allah, and we shall quickly forget it, because we are also on the same road. Not a one of us is off on a road that won't lead to the same destination. So let us forget that, prepare for ourselves, that we will not die unless we die a Muslim. It is not mentioned Muslim in the Bible, but it means the same. He says there the prayer, let me die the death of the righteous. We glory in Allah to guide us even through death, that we show the world that we die the death of the righteous. This you find the prophets, some of them in the Bible, praying for the same thing. They prayed for the same thing, excuse my English, that they wanted to die the death of the righteous, and they did do so, though some of them were maimed and murdered, but yet they died a righteous person in the mind and heart according to God. They could not have died in a better under the hand of an enemy who violently destroyed some of them. But in this day and time, you can die the death of the righteous if you live a righteous life. A righteous life, Allah will let you die the death of the righteous. What is meant here, you are not supposed to suffer. A Muslim told me once of a Muslim dying in the mosque over in Asia. He said he died on his knees saying his prayers. And I said, that's a mighty good death. And I was told about many righteous people how easily Allah take them out of life, and they are gone to the life of unknown, or has never been known to be in a life there. So what I'm saying to you, let us pray to Allah and do righteousness and try and die till death of the righteous. I thank you for your listening here this afternoon, and I pray that each and every one of you will not die unless you're Muslim. Everybody wants to die easy. This is true, that's nature. We don't want to know it because that's the end of us. So to be like that, be righteous. I thank you for your listening here this afternoon. Now, I'm going to do this myself. I want all of you that is here who have some disbelief about Islam, stand up and tell me. No one. I want any one of you who have not understood the teachings of Islam that I have been teaching here, and my helper, Minister Shai, and others who are helping me here throughout the country, if there is something that is said that you don't understand, will you stand? I mean about Islam. Will you stand and tell me so I can correct you? No one. I thank you. Now again, I would like that you know this to be true of our teaching, and you have Bible, bear your witness, bear us witness. Heard. Get out of the name of white people. Heard, and acclaim the name of Allah, your people. When we say Allah, many times we are referring to the Supreme One among us. Allah, His name is Allah, the Supreme Being. We call Him Supreme because no other being is His equal. We don't mean that He's a spook now. There is no such thing as a God that has joy in us that is something other than us, that He's some kind of a foreign or something. No. All the God ever was for us was meat, bone, blood. That's what they was. Never was no foreignness, God. And there never will be. God could not get joy out of us if He was not one of us. He's just supreme in wisdom and have power to will a thing, and it come to pass. Let thy will be done. Will. He just wills the thing, it comes to pass. And that is conferred upon the righteous. If you love Allah, obey Allah and His messengers, prophets, do the will of Him that is sent to them to teach you. You also could will a thing, it will come to pass. But don't will a thing and then suspicious whether it will come to pass or not. Then you are disbelieving in your own prayer to God and disbelieving in God whom that you are directing your prayer to. Whatever you ask Him in prayer, believe He heard it and it will come to pass if it's not vain things. Then it will come to pass. I asked Allah something that maybe you don't know. I saw my wife was in a condition and a disease. The thing that she had was a cancer. And it had been with her ever since he came to us. He told my wife in my presence, "Sister, you have a sick stomach." This sick stomach traveled with my wife up until the day she died. She knew these things and I knew them. I did not want to tell our sons and daughters the condition that our mother and our wife was in. My wife was in. Where they made would grieve themselves. I known it for over 30 years. But I kept it to myself. I know what was wrong. God had told her, and she knew it. But there was no cure for it in the way that you was so. I asked Allah to bless my wife to come home and die. I said, don't let her die out there in the hospital of the devil, lest he laugh. I said, oh. He said, the prophet brought her to us to heal. Why did not he go to the Master Farad Muhammad if he thought that he was God to get her to heal? So I asked Allah, knowing Allah in person, to take away from out of that hospital and let me bring her here home and die. I said, because the devil will be bound to laugh at you and me. And this thing, I kept asking him for 3 or 4 times, and I felt like that he would do so, and he did do so. And I told the doctors that I'd rather see her die at home. So they admitted that I was right, and that they would find some way to get her out to my house. I said, yes, she'll come out. And I said, I will let her die right here in this house. I said, because I don't want to be laughed at by the devil, and I don't want the devil to try to make more of the power of our God. But there is things in that line that must not be ignored. God is not going to do no miracle unless it's necessary for us in the way of death. Because one day we're going to die anyway. As the Holy Quran teaches us, Allah did not design that no man should live forever. So don't be thinking that. He says in the Holy Quran, though some of us wish that we had a life of 1,000 years, well, that's the dread of death. But if it pleases Allah, we will die very easy. My father did no one know when he had passed. No struggle, no nothing at all. Until the nurse examined him and found him dead. I had just left the hospital out of exact hour. And I know what he had told me. I wasn't expecting to live. He talked to me very sanely. Before I left, he told me all what he had heard the doctor say. So I left to take my mother away, fearing that she'd break down if I tell her what he had said about him would be passing away from us now in most any time. So I came home before I got settled in a seat good. Telephone rang and told me my father had just passed. I wasn't surprised. So we returned and we began to make preparation for his burial. And he didn't make one struggle, they said. This is the death that the Holy Quran is teaching you. Die not unless you're a Muslim. So that you don't feel the sting of death. It's a kind of visitor. We don't want to never visit us. And if he visits us, don't let us know you are here. Just take us away. This is what the Holy Quran teaches you. That you pray for. Pray that you die the death of the Muslim, meaning the righteous. So my dear, good and listening audience, I have words I would like to say to you on many of these things. And when I think that you can take it, I'm going to tell you. But I will wait on you. The people is waiting for something now. They don't want that slavery stuff. Telling them that they got to die to go to heaven. They want some of this heaven they see, not the heaven that they are not sure of. If he dies, he can't come back and tell you whether you told him a lie or the truth. So I say, brothers, let us get together on what we see and not what we are promised that we will see after we are dead. There is no man never lived and died that came back. When he's dead for sure, go call him all you want to. Go lie down in the grave with him. He don't answer. One or two words can stop that kind of teaching. Brother, show me one that was once dead and he went back to the earth and he's now living. Show him to me. Jesus rose from the dead. Tell him to show him to you. What is meant when the scholars and scientists said Jesus rose from the dead? It means a man with the ideals and the teachings that Jesus wanted to give us, but he was before time and he died. It means so we want to say to you that there is no such thing. Nobody has been put down in the earth and someone said, dust to dust. He returned to that which we taken him from. He come out of the earth, now we return him to the earth. No one has ever seen one come out of the grave. You can say you dream something like that, but dreams is not always true. If Jesus came back, none of us have met him yet. And all the prophets of old, they all died. And the creator of this heaven and earth that we live in, he died. We don't meet with him. We have not met him. No, sir. I want to teach you these things that you have misunderstood it. There's no such thing as a human or no flesh or no life. Let it be whatever life it may be. After it dies, it don't come back. Yes, sir. Don't come. So the white man taught you this, but you didn't ever know what he meant by this. He meant this, that you are dead, nigger, now. But you can live again because you are God's people and he's coming after you one day and take you away from me. And then you will come alive in the knowledge of what I have done in keeping you like you are. Now today is the resurrection of the dead. The resurrection of the slave mental dead. You are the mental dead, not physical dead. Mental dead. Blessed is he, the Bible says, that dies in the name of the Lord. You and I died in the name of the Lord. Henceforth, says the Spirit, shall live again. Because he's already from God and he just died in the knowledge of his God. So he's going to be awakened one day and he will live again. What says the Scripture in another place, referring to his own apostle? He is my firstborn, the first to rise from the dead. I called him, and he answered me. Now I'm going to give him the key so that he may call others, bring them to life.